Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ask the Nanny. Tonight we have two special guests, Miss Monique. She is a book connoisseur. She is a children's book. Um, I would say she breaks
I'm a
it down. Yes.
curator of all children's books.
Okay, there you go. She's a curator of children's books. See, and we have Miss Carmen Lene.
Hi.
And she is a children's book author. And tonight we're going to be talking about diversity in children's books. Now, I'm going to let them introduce themselves to you while I share this to my groups on Facebook. And they're going to introduce themselves, tell you a little bit about themselves, and give you a fun fact. Can't wait to hear the fun. Okay, Miss Monique, we will start with you.
Okay, so I'm a veteran nanny for over 20 years. I'm a mother. I have a 3-year-old daughter. I was born and raised in Chicago. I would say I make promotional videos for nannies for anyone who needs to jumpstart their business. And I would say I'm a parental advisor. I've done some virtual things for parents online as well. And a fun fact about me is in 2015, I ran the Chicago Marathon for the Lupus Society.
Okay, so how long was this marathon?
26.2 miles.
Wow.
Okay. Most of them run is like 3 miles, and it took all day.
I'm with you, Miss Angela. Yeah.
Okay. You got me beat 10, 15 times over. Okay. Miss Carmen, tell us about you.
Mine is not as interesting as Miss Nanny Monique, but I have published. My name is Carmen Lene. I was born in Detroit, Michigan, and I have 3 published children's books. And a fun fact about me, I sing background for my mom with my 2 older sisters. She's a gospel singer. So that's a fun fact.
Anybody we know?
Her name is Ellen Hayes. I don't know. I don't think you know her. I'm not sure.
Okay. I was just asking. I thought maybe you had somebody that we are supposed to know or knew, or you said it like that. I was like, oh, okay. Okay. I have 2 more groups that I'm going to share this with, if I can find them. There we go. Now, done. So, as I said, tonight we're going to talk about diversity in children's books. So, we're going to start with Miss Monique.
Okay. So I bought 5 books to talk about today. The first book I wanted to talk about is May Among the Stars. Have you guys seen this book before?
I have seen that book. Yes.
Yeah, it's a great book. Yeah. It's a book by Rhoda Amid, and it's inspired by Mae Jemison when she was a child. So I guess when she grew up, her teachers told her that because of the color of her skin, that she could not be an astronaut. And her parents told her, if you believe it, you can do it. You just have to believe in yourself. And I think that's a wonderful message. It's a great story. It's a fictional story, but it's inspired by Mae Jemison. So this is one of my book picks. I think this is a wonderful book. The illustrations are so beautiful too. But my thing with children's literature is I think children's books shouldn't have to be about the struggle when you're talking about diversity and inclusion. Just like Carmen's books, they should just be fun, because I feel like when we grew up and you looked at books with people of color in them, it was about the struggle. It was a biography. And children should be able to look at themselves and see themselves in a book. That's so important. So I think my little girl loves space. So that's one of the reasons why I thought this book was a great pick for my daughter. Should I go through all the children's books? Is that okay?
Yes, you can go
Sure.
through it, and
Okay.
then we'll come back and talk.
Yeah, so I also have Amazing Grace. And Grace is a little girl in school who wants to try out to be Peter Pan in a school play. And the kids in her class tell her, you can't be Peter Pan because you're a girl and you're Black. So I think this is also a good message to say, you can also be whatever you want to be if you try. This is a wonderful book. It was actually gifted to us by a Chicago public school teacher, and she's just wonderful. And she reads it to her children. So I think that's really important to show books to your kids in the class of all nationalities. And that book was by Mary Hoffman.
Okay.
Monster Trouble. Are you guys familiar with Monster Trouble?
I remember seeing that book. You know what? I was looking for that book, and I was looking it up, and I was at the children's library, and I was looking for that book for my granddaughter, because I was looking up children's books with little girls in it that looked like her, and they didn't have it. And that's why I remember now why I remember that book and why I don't remember that book. I remember the front cover, but I don't remember reading it.
Aren't the illustrations gorgeous?
Yes,
I love it.
that.
They are beautiful. And I actually interviewed Michael Robertson. He is the illustrator for this book. It's just about a little girl who has monsters come into her room and they won't leave her alone. She can't get any sleep. So she figures out that if you kiss monsters, they'll leave you alone.
You.
Isn't that adorable? And this book right here is Sun. And this book is dear to my heart because it's my favorite author and illustrator, Allison Oliver. She actually, ever since I did an interview with her, and we've been talking this whole quarantine, and she actually gifted me some books. And we've been chatting back and forth, and she's been following me on Instagram. So this is so beautiful. It's just about a little boy who meets a fox at the beach. And it's just about, he's a soccer star. He wants to take a break from just being athletic. So he goes to the beach and he finds his creative side when he meets a fox. So he starts doing art. It's a beautiful book. It's so gorgeous. So I have an interview with Allison Oliver and Michael Robertson on Instagram, and you guys can check that out. Yeah, it's a really good interview. You should definitely check that out. And the last book that I have, and Angela, you know about this book.
I love that book.
Isn't this book great?
And I read that book too. A set of, I won't say a set of twins, but two little boys. Mom was German and dad was Indian.
Okay.
And they were brown. They were brown. They were a lighter brown skinned Indian.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to get something for them specifically because they had a baby sister coming. And that was where we found the book. And that's where I found it. I said, I looked up books about newborn babies coming. And I found that book. And one of the 2-year-olds said, "That's a brown boy. I'm brown too." I said, "Yes, you are. You are brown too." "That's me." I said, "Yeah, that could be you because you have a new baby sister coming." And he said, "Yeah, I like that book." So I ended up buying the book for them and gifting it to them. Of course, I had to buy 2 copies because you can't just buy, 1 copy and them share. That won't happen. So I bought 2 copies of the book because they love that book. And that's why I said I love that book. And that's the memory it evokes in me from them identifying themselves in the book.
It's so important for kids to see themselves in a book. And if you can't see yourselves, it should be a window into somebody else's life. So I always think windows and mirrors. You should be able to see yourself. That's the mirror. And then if you don't see yourself, it should be the window to see somebody else's culture. And that is just important, all around. And this book is great because I feel like everyone can relate to this. If you're an only child and somebody new comes along,
Yeah.
I mean,
But
everybody has
it's
this
such a,
experience.
it's not a book about color. It's a
No,
book about there's somebody new and they're coming to take my place. So
right, right. In all of these books, well, at least Sun is not about color. Monster Trouble is not about color. And I think it's so important to just find books for kids that are just everyday children's fiction. Just everyday children's fiction. It doesn't have to be about color. Just find books with different kinds of children. Asian, Indian, um, Latino, every nationality. It's so important so you can show children this is our world. These are the people in our world.
right. And
Right.
books do that. They open up. I always tell parents, books open up a world for your kids.
Yeah.
They are in a limited space. Unless you all travel, world travelers all over the world, seeing different things all the time. You can open a book and see different cultures. You can open a book and learn new things. When I was when I taught preschool, we would celebrate different holidays, and we wouldn't call it Christmas around the world. We would call it holidays. So whenever a holiday came, because it was the Department of Justice in Washington D.C., and it was kids from all different nationalities because there were several different nationalities that worked for the Department of Justice. And we celebrated all the holidays. And I would go to the library and I would just find books, whether it was a menorah when the Jewish holidays, or if it was Ramadan, or whatever the holiday was, we celebrated. We did this was it a dance of lights, and I paired the girls with the boys, and we followed the steps in the book, and we did the dance of lights, and it was them learning about different cultures, them learning about themselves, and them learning about different cultures, them being accepting of one another. I went and found what is his name, Putumayo. He has music from all around the world. And I used to just play it all the time in the room because it was Latin music, it was French music, it was Spanish music, it was Brazilian music, it was African music, it was swing, it was jazz, whatever the case may be. I still have those like 23 different CDs of just music around the world. And I would just switch them out day by day so that they can hear not just the music that mom and dad play at home. They could hear music around the world because I personally believe that music sets a mood. Music changes things. It changes the atmosphere. It
Yes.
changes in the drums, the violins, the accordion, whatever the musical instruments may be. They can learn about the culture. They can learn about the instruments. There's so many different things that you can teach the children just from listening. So many different things you can teach them just from reading a book. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this, because I had so many parents say, well, what books do I read to my children to show them diversity? Well, you can show them diversity in the books, but don't necessarily get the books because that's what you want to do.
Right.
Get the books because you're learning about different cultures. You're learning about different things. You're learning to be tolerant of one another.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead with your book. I
Oh, no.
just got excited.
No.
I am an advocate for early literacy, so
Literacy.
I get excited about reading.
Oh, I loved your, and when you were saying that, I was thinking one trick is to go to the library and go to the fairy tale section. Look for Cinderella. you will find 20 different books on Cinderella, and you will find them from every single country. Every country has their own take on a fairy tale. And
Yes.
that way you can learn about different cultures that way. Just start in the fairy tale section in your library. And if you like the book, go on Amazon later and buy it, or go to your local indie Black bookstore and buy it.
Plug.
There you go.
Okay, so tell us about your book so I can get to Carmen's book.
Oh no, so those are the books.
Okay, no, I thought you had something else to say about that one.
Oh no. So yeah, The New Small Person is just about a little boy who was an only child, and his parents have a new baby, and he has to learn how to love his brother, his little brother, basically. And they end up getting along the older he gets, and they become best friends. It's a wonderful story.
Okay, Miss Carmen,
Yes.
I know that you have written 3 children's books. Tell us about your books.
My books are, I try to put myself in the book, and I'm so inspired by all of my nieces and nephews. I have 17 of them. So that's like no children, but those are like my babies. And my books are fun. They're about sharing, understanding, bullying. I try to feed off of them, of what they talk about, and then I write about it. So they're all kind of like my inspiration for the books.
Okay.
So the latest book that I just published is Princess Belly. And this was actually inspired by my cousin that passed a few months ago. And last year she told me she wanted me to write a story about her, and she wanted to be a princess, and she wanted to wear all pink. So she gave me like the nails and the hammer, and I just built the story from there. So this is a fun story, and it's her birthday, and she's just giving you a day in the life of a princess birthday party. So this was really fun for me to write because it was just a very exciting book. And it's so bright, so many colors. And my books are activity books. So I make it so children can color in them when they're done. They can color pictures. I don't know if you can see.
Oh, yeah. Oh, see, you got the unicorn. What little girl does not like coloring a unicorn?
And all my nieces want to be unicorns, at least the younger ones. Like, they're obsessed with unicorns. So I thought that was cute. And so my second book is I'll Fly When I'm Ready. And it's about a bird that's afraid of heights. And the bird is afraid of heights, and he's getting bullied because he's the only bird that doesn't fly. But it's about acceptance, like accepting yourself and knowing that this is what you come with, and overcoming fears and not letting your fears take over your life. Mm-hmm. So that's what this one is about. And I try to make it not too serious because I am silly, but I am a serious person. So I try to get into a child's mind to write something that I think that they would like. And my very first book, which is my baby, this is my best friend, Nikki. And it's about a boy who has a security blanket, and the security blanket is his teddy bear. So he's getting older, and he has to make the decision of if he's going to keep this bear or if he's going to give this bear away. So it's like a little twist in the book. And I touched on epilepsy in the book because by the age of 14, I was diagnosed with epilepsy. So writing books was something that I never thought I would be able to do. And I'm 34 now, and doctors told me that I would never be able to do it, and I have 3 published books. So my goal is wonderful. Let children with disabilities or ailments just know that there isn't anything that you can't do. So I love writing. It's my outlet to vent, and it was my outlet to cope with what I was going through. So I love it. And it's not just children's books. I write poetry, and it's a lot of stuff. So I'm excited. I hope that everybody, all the children over the world, I can change lives with my writing. I'm excited.
Good. Now, my next question to you all is, I know when my youngest son when he was born, he had chronic ear infections. Um, he had like 12 ear infections between the ages of 3 months and 12 months. He ended up having to get like 3 sets of eustachian caps. And after he got his eustachian tube, the last set, they were supposed to last like 3 years, and they lasted more like 6 or 7 years, and they finally fell out, and it left a hole in his eardrum. But before all of that happened, what we didn't know was that because he could not hear the first year of his life, he ended up with dyslexia. Now, to me and to everybody else that I knew, dyslexia was writing letters and numbers backwards. I didn't know it had to do with comprehension. Both my parents are teachers. My mom taught him to read, or should I say, call words, at the age of 4. So he could call words all day long, but he was not comprehending what he was reading. So it would come, and we didn't notice it until he was like 3rd or 4th grade. And he took a test, the standardized test that they take, and he made a 70 in the comprehension. He made a 99 in the reading. Now, according to the test guidelines, there's only supposed to be a 15-point difference between the reading comprehension and the reading. And he had a gap of 29. So he had twice the gap, the allowed gap. And they were saying, well, he passed the test. I said, no. What you don't understand is just because 70 is passing and 99 is passing does not mean that he passed this test. If you look at your own guidelines, it says that there should be only a 15-point gap. And if not, he needs to be retested because there's something going on. And what we didn't know was that he had dyslexia. And when I finally got him tested, and that was when all this stuff started going on, the IEPs, and that's when I became an advocate for early literacy, and not just calling words, but actually reading to understand, talking about the books, what we're learning from the books, asking questions to the kids, open-ended questions, not just yes and no questions, asking open-ended questions from the book to see if your child really understood what they were reading or the gist of the story, or they even had their own twist to the story. Well, when I'm asking my son, the dog's name is Spot, Spot did this, Spot did that. And I said, well, what's the dog's name? And he starts searching. And he's going over this. By the 3rd time he's gone over this dog's name, I'm like, okay, so what's the dog's name? I'm looking for it, Mama. And I said, okay. And it was just little things like that. And then I would tell him, go upstairs, get your clothes, bring them down and put them in the laundry room, and then go do something else. He would go upstairs and roam around for like 5 minutes, come back down and say, Mama, what did you tell me to do? And I'm thinking, boy, do I have to treat you like my little 2-year-olds at work? I was just joking. What I didn't know was, yes, because he didn't understand. One instruction at a time. But the same son was in special education for like 4 or 5 years. And then one day he started beating on the table and learning to music. And that's how he passed his test. And the same son that they told me would not go to college. He beat your table for the rest of his life, because he, quote unquote, as they call it, special. This same son has 3 degrees now.
Wow.
And works at a college and counsels students. So when you say, Carmen, when they tell you what you can't do,
Yeah.
and you overcome and you keep striving towards, that's what he did. And the teachers used to call me, your son is beating on the desk. I said, are you taking the test? Well, yeah. said, well, that's how he learns. That's how he remembers things. I said, so he's trying to pass the test. And they're like, well, he's disturbing the class. Well, can you put him in another room? I'm not coming to get him. If that's what you're expecting, I'm not coming to get him because he needs to be in the classroom with regular children and he needs to learn. So he was my cause for getting children to read and start reading early and start comprehending early, start reading as babies and start talking to them. And even when I finished the book, to start talking to them, did you see the red flowers? Oh, they're so pretty. I wonder what the other color the flowers are. And I would just point out different things as a baby. I would point out different things to the children. And then as they grew up, they would start pointing to the pictures and start, flower or bird. These are things I wanted them to recognize. I wanted them to comprehend. I wanted them to know because I didn't want someone else's child to end up like my child did. But this is why reading is so important. Reading, and not just reading, but reading comprehension, understanding the books. And I wanted to ask you all, what made you all so interested in books? What was your passion? What was your aha moment behind, yes, this is where I need to be. This is what I need to do. This is what I'm passionate about.
Well, my first nanny family, the dad was a professor, and he wrote a children's book while I was a nanny for him. Yeah, and I did that. I nanny for this family while I was in college. And then I moved to Washington, D.C., and I became a live-in nanny for two famous authors. And they also wrote for Vanity Fair and the Washington Post. And they had a library in their house. So every morning before school, the kids would cuddle up with their parents on the couch and read stories. And as soon as they got home from school, they would say, "Is mommy home? Mommy's going to finish that last 2 chapters in Harry Potter." And they just couldn't wait to read. And I just loved how excited and enthusiastic they were about reading. And it just became part of me. I just loved that. And then I carried that with me through all of my jobs. And I began teaching the children that I was nannying for how to read at an early age. The earliest I've taught a child how to read is 2 years old. So it started there. And I just go to the library with the giant red wagon, and we fill that sucker up, and then we walk home. I love it. I just did it today. I got like 30 books from the library. That sounds crazy, but we read them. We'll read like 10 books at a time, my daughter and I. So
yeah,
that's awesome. My aha moment, let's see. My mom gave me a journal and pencils when I was 14, when the seizures started happening. So in order for me to cope, I used to write poetry. So that's how I started. I had like journals full of poetry. She used to buy me the books. You remember Chicken Soup for the Soul, like the teenage soul? I used to read those books all the time. It felt like it was me that they were talking about in those books. So my aha moment was the poetry and watching my mom read it. And then once my nieces and nephews started being born, and I wrote my best friend Nikki, after everybody fell in love with it, that was when I knew this was what I was supposed to do. After I completed my first book, and I never thought I would ever be able to do something like that, that's when I was like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. Because my nieces and nephews loved it, like the children in the church loved it, my friends' children loved it, and it let me know that I was making a difference with my writing. So that was my aha moment.
Yay!
I love that.
Thank you.
So, it's beautiful.
So, Miss Monique.
Yes.
You do a lot of book, should I say, I won't say analysis, but you do a lot of
review them.
You review the books.
Yeah.
I don't know why my brain is. I've recorded 3 times today, so I'm just like, My
And
brain is like rest. So you review the books, and I watch you on Instagram, and I'm like, oh, I need to get back to reading. But most of the books that I got were from the library, and I did that because when I started, I was, on a budget. I said, well, the library is full of books. Get them for free. And I got in such a habit of doing that. And now the library is closed and I have no books. And I'm just sitting here like, now's the time I need to be reading. I don't have any books. So, um, what is it that made you start? I know you said you work for authors and everything. What is it that made you start doing these book reviews? Was it kids, or was it your own daughter? Or what made you start doing the book reviews?
Well, actually, I've always wanted to do this because people tell, like, for instance, the other day, someone said there's not a lot of books with people of color in them. And I said, yes, there is. And I don't like when people say that. People just don't look for them, or they look for books that they always get with what they feel comfortable with. And I want to show people you can find books with people of color about anything. And if you have a kid who likes trucks and you want to show diversity inclusion, ask your librarian. Say, hey, my kid loves trucks. Are there any books with any Black children with trucks in them? Or, sibling books like The New Small Person. So I just want to let people know they're out there. There's so many of them now. They weren't like this when we were younger.
Right.
It wasn't like this. I was actually
At
looking
all.
for you. Do you remember a book when you were younger with a person of color? It's hard for me to remember them. So
I don't remember them. Only thing I remember is Ezra.
Ezra Jack Keats.
Yes, and the whistle and the snowy day.
Snowy
Oh my,
Day, Whistle for
that is
Wind.
my favorite, the snowy day. But now I have found Lola's Garden, and I have found what is her name? It's a play off of Little Red Riding Hood, but it's a lion, a hungry lion that's after her.
Oh, we have that book, The Big Hungry Lion.
Is that what it's called?
The Very Hungry Lion.
Right, yeah.
I think it's by T.J. Smith. Yeah, I actually am friends with him on Instagram. He's super nice.
Oh, good, good, good. But yeah, when I first read that book, I didn't pick it out. The two little boys that I nannied for, they picked it out. Oh, look at the lion! And so when I started reading that, they had no clue about Little Red Riding Hood, and I was like, "Oh, this is Little Red Riding Hood." They was like, "Who is that?" And I was like, "Uh-oh, I'm old." So I got that book, and I found like an original Little Red Riding Hood um, and I started. I read that book first, and I read the Little Red Riding Hood. They said we like the other book better. I was like, yes, good, because I liked it too. I mean, it was a twist on it. It was a lesson to the story. I just love that book, but I found that there weren't that many books that I can remember
Right.
that were, but of course, that was like, we're talking like in the 60s. I'm 50 something years old. So there was not, probably not any books other than books of this is the struggle that
This
we're going through. But now I love finding books. And if I can't find books for diversity, I will find books with animals in it, different kinds of animals in it, to show what do you think the big bad wolf did? What do you think the three little pigs did? What their personalities. I give each animal a personality when I read. I give them a special voice when I read. And some of them even have accents when I read. And the kids love it, and they're thinking. And when they start trying to read it on their own, they start trying to do the voices, and it's so hilarious. No, you didn't do that right. She did like this, and I'm like, okay, but it keeps them interested in reading. It keeps them interested in what they're doing. And Miss Carmen, When you started writing books, I know you're a new author. Was it your intention to the princess on the front? Was it intention for you to uh, create a book of diversity, or was it just in honor of your niece? I think you said
No, the third Princess Nellie was in
the
honor of
princess.
her cousin.
Oh, cousin.
Yeah.
Okay, your cousin. Now, did you, like I said, did you intentionally mean to do that, or were it because the book is about her, or were you intentionally? I guess I'm trying to say, was the book intentionally with a Black princess on it because of your niece? I mean, your cousin, or did you already have that in mind because you wanted to be a book of diversity?
I would say a little bit of both because I wanted to see a Black princess on a book, but also because it was for my cousin, and I feel like Princess Nellie actually looked like her because she had good curly hair and everything. So I think it was a little bit of both. I wanted to touch on diversity, but I actually wanted to pay tribute to her as well.
Okay. Now, Miss Monique,
Yes.
the book that you're going to give away.
Yes.
I Oh, she's got it all nice and gift
Oh,
wrapped and
nice.
everything.
Kiddo bookstore wrapped it. Yeah.
Did you tell them this is a gift, so I need this wrapped?
I did.
So tell the book that you're going to give away. Tell us what the requirements are to win this book.
So, to win this book, if you are on my Instagram and you are not following me on Facebook, which is Miss Monique on Facebook, come on over and click like and type underneath my latest book, following. So I know that you watched Ask the Nanny. So I just want you guys to come on over. And if you're on Facebook and you're not following me on Instagram, click on my latest book post and write following in the comments. And
Okay, so what is your latest book post? So they will know because you have a lot of book posts on there. And I know I saw 2 or 3 circulating today.
So the latest book post, as soon as I get off of this Ask Nanny, I'm going to take a picture of this box. So when you see this box, click like, and then underneath in the comments, just write following, and I'll know that you watched Ask the Nanny.
Okay, did you all get that?
I'm taking
Instagram. Okay, I'm going to type it into the comments. You need to follow on Instagram. It is
Nanny Miss Monique on Instagram.
Okay, let me write this down. Instagram.com/Nanny Miss Monique. And
on Facebook, it's just Miss Monique.
Okay. Follow Instagram. Okay, so you have to put follow on Instagram, and then on Facebook,
it'll be the same exact picture, just like it, and then in the comments, write following.
And it's just Miss Monique on Facebook.
That's right. Can I tell them what the book is?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So the book that's in the box is The New Small Person by Lauren Child. So you'll get a brand new copy of this book. I'm really excited. And I'll let you guys know tomorrow who won.
All right, she's going to announce it tomorrow. Okay, so I didn't realize I could type it from here. What am I doing? Okay. Now, I am giving away Miss Carmen's book, Princess. what is her name?
Princess Nelly.
Princess Nelly. So if you want the Princess Nelly book, follow Miss Carmen Lene, the author, on Instagram. Now, let me type this into here. It's Instagram.com / Carmen Lene. I cannot talk today, y'all.
It's Monday. You could have passed. You're good.
Okay.
No, but I think I have Carmen Lene, the author, page on Instagram. I think that's the name of it on Instagram.
You know I'm going to go check, don't you?
Yeah, I should know this,
but I'm going to check. Okay, I'm going to see if I can find you.
Okay.
No, it's Carmen Lene, the author.
Okay.
Okay.
I should know.
I thought that's what I saw. LAN. Okay, now you need to follow her. Type follow, and I will be announcing this tomorrow. And we have there's a picture of just the princess on your page, right?
Yes.
The book, The Princess. Okay. There is a picture on Carmen Lene's page. Carmen Lene, the author, on Instagram. Follow her on Instagram, and I'm going to give you the Princess book. It'll be coming to you from Amazon.com because that's where you can purchase the book. Where did you purchase your book?
Kiddo Bookstore, KIDO.
Kiddo Bookstore.
Yeah, this is if you can see it, that's their logo. It's on Instagram, so you can follow them too.
So you can follow Kiddo too. Yes, you can follow Kiddo too. Oh, let me hit the. Got it. Okay.
Angela, I have to tell you that my daughter and I went on your YouTube page and we listened to the Lori Berkner book, the monster book, where you were doing the voices when you were just talking about that. And my daughter was loving it. She was like, oh, again.
Well, I had a lady to comment on there about, she said, you just saved everybody in my family. The baby was crying in the car and I put on your book and she started listening. It was, what's the name of the, Shoo La La.
Oh, Shoo La La.
It's Shoo La La. It's these 4 little girls who are going to have a party and they need shoes to go with their party dresses. And they ended up in the shoe store, got all these shoes out, and then they couldn't find any that they liked. They went home, grabbed an old pair of shoes, tied bows, created ribbons, and they had bows and little rhinestones and things. Anyway, they ended up making their own shoes. So,
oh, I love that.
It's a cute little girly girl book, and it's a rhyming book. And it's a funny book because the expression on the guy at the store who's got all the shoes and he's holding the shoes and he's like, I'm about to drop all of these shoes. But it is the cutest little book. But the mom said, you saved us. We listened to that. She told me they listened to that book like 3 or 4 times on the way home. And the baby stopped crying. So you have one of those voices. People call me the baby whisperer. You have one of those voices, Miss Monique, that people just sit there and listen to you. I sit and listen to you. I'm like, she just has this soothing, smooth voice that everybody just wants to listen to and just kind of cuddle up in the corner and like, okay, Miss Monique, put us to sleep.
I'm turning red right now.
But you do. And seriously, when I tell people about you, she said, I told somebody about you. Is that the woman with the voice? I said, Are you talking about the smooth, cool, soothing? Yeah, that's the one. Yep, that would be Miss Monique. So you have a voice that just kind of just comforts. It kind of just it takes you in and gives you this big hug, and. So,
Thank
and
you.
I'm not the only one that has noticed it. When you do your commercials, it depends on what you're doing. When you're talking about those children's books, you draw people in. The
Well,
way
I'm
I,
doing a story time now once a month. Um, and my last story time was the first one I did. I read The New Small Person. So you can find that on my Facebook or my Instagram page. But that was my first story time ever.
you don't have a YouTube page.
I do have a YouTube page. I'm not very good with YouTube. I need to get better.
Well,
Do you have a YouTube page?
I do not have.
Yeah.
you all
No.
need YouTube pages. I mean, even if it's so people can find you and listen to you. When I tell you, I go my stories that I put out 2 to 3 years ago. I'm finding that over the course of this pandemic, they went from like 35, 45, 50 views. One of them had a lot, like two or 300 views. They're like 2.1, 2.5K. I was like, what in the world? I didn't realize it was everybody's online listening to stories and I had someone say, I have to read this book for school. That's the only comment they gave. I have to read this book for school. I was like, okay, I'm glad I helped you read that book for school. So when you read books, your interpretation of the book comes through your voice. I know when I read the books, I read them through several times and get the gist of the story. And once I find out what's going to happen at the end, I'll know how to read it at the beginning to build up the suspense to get to the end. When I'm reading with the boys, I'm just kind of reading and making voices. And then I kind of skim over the book. Oh, okay. And as I'm turning the pages, I'm like, okay, what's happening on this page? What my voice needs to be doing. So, but when you read books, how do the inflections, do you give them voices?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes it actually, when I read The New Small Person, I did the voice of the little boy like a child. So I made myself sound like a child. Yeah. So I do that
Okay.
sometimes. Yeah.
Now, I have one last question. If money was no option, would you continue to do what you do and just Carmen, would you continue to just write, 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 write? And Miss Monique, would you just continue to go? If you can just sit at home all day long and just go and just do whatever you want to do. And would it include books?
Yes, I would write. If I could do that for the rest of my life, I would do it. I love to write. I'm very passionate about that.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
Thank
I would
you.
definitely do the same thing. I would always look for children's books. I've been collecting children's books since I was 17. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Now, have your books been uh, diverse books, or have they been just all sorts of books?
I have all sorts of books, but right now my diversity collection is a little bit over 200 now. For
Wow.
Yeah, but altogether I might have like 600 books altogether in my
Okay.
room. Yeah,
So, do you have a list of your diverse books?
I do. I have a list of them. I have an affiliate on Amazon. I can actually put that on my Facebook page because I don't know what it is right now. But and
Okay.
I have a list of all the books that I recommend. It's a lot.
Okay. Because I was going to ask you if you can recommend some books, because that was the main reason of doing the show, was not only to find out about the books that you really, really love, but to get some books to recommend for not just the diversity of it, but just a good story that is good to read for any child and not
Yeah.
just because I know right now in the world, everybody wants, well, let me learn this and let me learn this about your culture, let me learn that. And it's easy to just pick up a book, especially with a child. It's easy to pick up a book and just talk about the book. Talk about the lessons that are learned in the book. The child can see that this child is not learning. You can talk about the different color skin, but I don't like forcing up on kids. I like them to learn uh, by looking and noticing because most kids don't miss. I don't care what you put in front of them, they don't miss it. If something is not right, or she has one more than I have, they're gonna notice it because you know. But forcing them to say, okay, this is a black child, and this is an Asian child, and this is a that child. To me, that's not teaching diversity. To me, that's just teaching, okay, they're different races. Teaching diversity and teaching them about what's going on in the book. What was the problem in the book? What was the, learning to accept new baby brother or new baby sister, learning to accept there's a new baby coming to the house, or there's a new puppy coming, or whatever the case may be in the book. Those are lessons that we can talk about, which teach more so than us trying to distinguish what race this child is and what that child is and what this child is. There's a book called The Colors of the Earth. Are you familiar with that book? It's a
I'm
children's.
not actually.
It's called Colors of the Earth. I think I read it on my YouTube page, but uh, it has different colors. I didn't like the illustrations. It's very diverse, but I didn't like the illustrations. They were just a little too, I don't know. They look they look more old people than young people. If that's, I don't know. I didn't personally like the illustrations, but it was a good book. The story in the book was a good book. And I thought it was just me, but the kids that I had at the time when I read the book, they were like, these are ugly pictures. And I was like, I cannot let them see me laughing because I thought the very same thing. But I can't tell them, yeah, they are ugly. But I let them have their opinions and I let them speak their minds and I let them tell me what they thought about the book. So the books that you brought for us,
Yes.
the diversity in those books, the lessons that they teach.
Yes.
How do you go about, um, how would you instruct a family or a nanny to use those books?
To use them. So for each one,
Well, each one are just all together. How would you suggest that they use the books in terms of teaching their children about diversity?
I think you just have to find books that are just about everyday life. Just like what you said, it doesn't have to be about the color. I mean, this book, Sun, is just about a boy who got tired of being in sports and wanted to express himself creatively. It has nothing to do with the color of his skin. I like books that are just like that, and there's many of them out there. You just, I mean, you really don't have to work hard to find them anymore. They're everywhere. You see them. So I would just recommend, if your child is interested in something, just like Carmen's book is about a little girl who wants to be a princess, that's a book for everyone. Anyone can have
Yes.
that book. So it has to be something, it's just everyday children's fiction, not
Mhm.
a nonfiction book. And I think that's important because anyone can see themselves in that situation. Doesn't matter what color you are, because we want them to relate. That's the whole point, right?
Right.
We want to be able to teach a lesson. We want the children to relate to the story.
Mhm.
Right. And I asked that question because I know my answer, which is exactly your answer. I want them to relate to, okay, this is a sports book. This is not a book about a black boy and a fox and how the black boy did this and the black boy did that. No, it's about a little boy who wanted to take some time off from sports and just be himself.
Yeah.
Period. And like I said, children notice everything and they will notice and they may ask. And that's when the real teaching moment comes when they ask about the boy's skin color, or when they ask about why is his hair like that, or when they ask about, uh, say, he may wear glasses, or even a child in a wheelchair. Why are they in the chair? Diversity is not just skin tone.
Skin color.
Diversity is inclusion of everything. We are all different in different ways. If you look at Black people, we are a rainbow
Yes.
of colors. I know my family was a rainbow of colors. As a child, we didn't know what we were saying. As an adult, I would never do that. But we used to call each other vanilla, caramel, and chocolate. I was vanilla, my sister was caramel, and my brother was chocolate. And that was our skin tone, and that's why we called each other that. But as an adult, I would never do that because now I see, okay, that was not a good analogy. But as a child, that's what we saw. But we kept it between the three of us. And we were like, what, 7, 8, 9, somewhere around there. So it wasn't like a something that we went out and said, oh, she's a vanilla. Oh, he's a chocolate. Oh, no, it wasn't like that. It was between the three of us, and we were comparing each other's skin tone. But the kids will do the same thing. If I did it as a child and with my brothers and sisters, and we're all Black, I promise you, little Indian children, little German children, little uh, Swiss children, whatever the color may be, whatever country you are from, because there are Blacks and whites in all countries. There's different languages from around the world. But when we find something, come together and share our differences and share our lives and figure out how to live with one another, how to tolerate one another, how to be friends. That's the biggest part of diversity to me is the tolerance of one another, the likeness differences. And last Saturday, I was on a podcast, well, a show with Nanny T, and it was Black nannies, white nannies, and we were talking about um, nannying while Black and how we can break up the cliques inside of our nanny world because we all like you're in this clique, I'm in that clique. We don't ever come together. And I just told them um, I'm going to start a hashtag invade the cliques, and I spelled it CLICKS, and a young lady fell right into the trap. And she said, "Well, if you really want to know, it's not spelled that way." I said, "I know." And I spelled it this way for a purpose because I wanted you to find it because people can get picky. And I know there are what I call the word police. They come in and they like, well, you should be spelling it this way. You should be spelling it another way. Well, how are you? How are you doing? I know I'm spelling it the wrong way. I intentionally did it that way so that I could get your attention, so that you would say something. And I know it's probably people that I don't know well who don't know that I do things to get attention. I do things intentionally with a reason, and they will say something, and I'll get to know you. Just like I'm getting to know, I tell them I'm just getting to know you, and thank you for noticing that, because that was the purpose, so that I can break the stereotype, break the cliques, go to the leaders and say, look, come to the table. Let's go to the table. Everybody come to the table. So when uh, I'm spreading it, the word, invade the cliques. That's CLICKS. Hashtag invade the cliques. Because we need to all come to the table together and stop. Well, this is my group over here, so I'm going to stay with my group. And this is my group over here, so I'm going to stay with my group. If you are a leader of that group, go to the leader of another group. Become friends. You influence your group, they influence their group. If you two influencers come together, you bring other people with you. You influence them to come to the table too. And then go out and multiply that by going to other cliques. Go to their leaders and their leaders and their leaders. And soon there'll be multitudes of people from different cliques, from different nationalities, all at the table together, getting along, finding a way to become friends, even with language barriers. Your body language says a lot. So invade the clicks. Invade the clicks. If y'all listening to me, oh, and before we go, see this little thing right here?
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me take it off.
Got mine too.
See, you can see. Okay. See, we got our pins on. This says, hold on, proud nanny. If you don't have one, go get one. Clearlynanny.com. I know Miss Crystal is watching. I see she made the last comment at 7:53. She was on 10 minutes ago. Miss Crystal, if you're still watching, we got our pin.
We have our pins on.
Okay, and if you don't have one of these, please go to clearlynanny.com and get you one. Okay, I'm gonna put mine on my desk because I know as soon as I get done, I'm gonna pull this off, and I don't want to wash it. I I will make a mistake of washing it. So I have to make sure that I intentionally pull it off and put it where I know it. I'm gonna keep it. So now, ladies, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for talking about your books and how we can help children with their books. I love both your unboxing videos. Thank you, Crystal. Crystal says she loved our unboxing videos.
Oh, yay.
Now on Thursday night. Hi, Chella. How are you? I didn't know she was on here.
Hey.
Yes, Chella just made a comment. Okay, so Chella, can you put your I think it was your cousin or your niece's company? Can you put her company on here in the comments? I don't remember what the name was, but I'm sure you know. Can you put it in the comments for us, please? Okay, so on Thursday night, Thursday night is our nanny mentoring night. I have a mentoring group on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. If you would like to join us, please contact me on Facebook, on Ask the Nanny Facebook page in the events. Contact me there. On Saturday morning, we are having a Reinvent Yourself workshop. If you are letting fear hold you back, if you are waiting on the right time, if you are waiting on pandemic to pass, now's the time for you to start that business. Now's the time for, thank you, Chella. Now's the time for you to stop holding on to whatever it is you're holding on to. Get yourself out there and write like Carmen is. Do your book reviews, do your the movies, the
Promo videos.
promo videos.
Yeah.
Like Miss Monique, she has promo videos that
I
she's
did
doing.
Clearly Nanny promo.
Thank you. Yes, Clearly Nanny has one.
Yeah.
Oh, Ashley says, I just opened my mailbox and came And out came my pen. I can't wait to wear it tomorrow. Yay! And coaching mentoring group. Oh my God, workshop. All right, Catherine, contact me. You can come to the coaching, the the mentoring on Thursday night, the nanny mentoring on Thursday night. Okay, I must really be tired. I cannot think straight tonight. Um, Come to the nanny mentoring on Thursday night. Contact me or send me a personal message on Facebook Messenger about Thursday night. We'll get you set up for Thursday night. The workshop is Saturday. The tickets are through Eventbrite, but you can find the workshop on the Ask the Nanny events page. Now, next Monday night, I'm sorry. I saw Catherine said my pen and my B&M t-shirt is in the mail. Yay. Thank you for your support. Facebook.com Clearly Katie. Okay. And that was Crystal plugging her stuff. Okay. So the workshop, the group, and next Monday, we're going to do part 2 of the emergency prepared readiness. We did part 1. Next Monday, we're going to do part 2 because this is something that we need to talk about. And I know a lot of nannies, and with the pandemic going on and everybody getting sick, we need to know about how to be ready for any and everything. Okay? So
important.
Very important. Now, do you ladies have any last remarks?
I'm doing the U.S. Nanny and Parent conference September 18th. So go ahead and follow that. The promo videos. It's half off right now, and then when September comes, I'm gonna do full price. So I'm just letting people know, do it now because the prices will go up in September.
Hello. You better get it while it's half price. You can get your 2-for-1 sale.
You really can.
Get your 2-for-1 sale.
And I want to buy Carmen's book and read her book for my story time.
I would love that. That's exciting.
Yeah, so I'm going to buy your book, your princess book. And I really want to get the bear one. I love that attachment idea where kids are attached to their lovey. Is that what you guys call it, a lovey?
Yeah.
That's what I call. I like the one about the I'll fly when I'm ready because I'm scared of heights. I'm that bird.
And
Don't you push me too close to the edge.
So yeah, you'll love that one.
Okay, so follow the instructions, all the instructions that we gave you. Follow the nanny announcements on Instagram and on Facebook. Ashley Cunningham. She's over the nanny announcements. So if you didn't get all of that, go to the nanny announcements and read the page. Read the nanny announcements. It's all on there. She flashes the nanny announcements. I'll be on Facebook tomorrow, 1:30 p.m. on my personal page. And tomorrow we are cooking some stuffed shells.
Ooh.
Cheese.
I want to tune in.
And a meat sauce. I love Italian food. I'm sorry. I just get all excited and yeah. So be tomorrow, 1:30 on my personal page. We're cooking some stuffed shells.
Yum.
Yes. That's what I said. You're welcome. Ashley, Carmen, Ashley said, can we order, Carmen, we can order your books off Amazon and your website, right?
Yes, my website, you can go straight to the Amazon link and you can order that way. Or you could just type it into Amazon, the search link.
Okay. I hope that answered your question, Ashley. You can get them on Amazon.com or you can get it from her website, CarmenLenaeTheAuthor.com.
Yes. Make sure you subscribe.
Subscribe.
With blogs and events that I have coming out and new books and everything. So.
Hey, we're going to wait on the new books. All right. I think we covered everything. Miss Nanny Monique's Nanny. Nanny Miss Monique is one of the speakers. Is going to be at the U.S. Nanny Association conference. I am going to be one of the speakers at the conference. A lot of people that you know, a lot of your nannies, Heidi Jolene, who was the INA, the Nanny of the Year last year. She's speaking. Sarah Salisbury, she's speaking. Amara, I can't pronounce her last name, but she has a nanny school in Nigeria. She's speaking.
Wow.
Shada Lambert, Nanny Shards, she's speaking. Kimberly Brown is speaking.
Alexa Ray.
Alexa Ray is speaking, and Linda Probst is speaking, and Crystal is speaking.
Alexa off. I said Alexa Ray, and Alexa started talking.
You said Alexa, and my Alexa is starting to do stuff. So yeah.
Alexa off. Sorry. Oh my God.
We'll do that to you. So, we have a lot of great speakers that are going to be on, and you do not want to miss them. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you. And the one that I really, 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 really want to see is Sarah Brenton. We're doing something different. She is actually going to be doing a webinar, and she's actually going to be cooking in the kitchen for the picky eater.
Ooh.
So all of your moms and dads and nannies who have those picky ears, you probably want to watch that. You probably want to be there for that, because she is a chef, and she cooks, and it's cool.
That sounds good.
Yes. So I'm going to let you all go, and you all have a wonderful week. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you Thursday. I'll see you Friday. I'll see you Saturday. I guess I won't see you on Wednesday. I'll let y'all rest for me on Wednesday. So, you all have a wonderful week. Thank you again, ladies.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed you. And excuse me. I will see you all tomorrow at 1:30 for Recipes Galore.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
You.
Thanks.